I believe I can feel you all around me. Save. Hey everyone, how's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez. I'm coming at you today with a VeVe OMI DEFF DECAT update video. Guys, if you're new, welcome. If not, welcome back. I love you all. I'm trying to figure out if I have my hair tie, and I do not, so it will have to be long hair for days. We've got a bit to go over, and I scheduled this because I had to do something tonight, and I wouldn't do the normal time, but then Dr. Profit or Dr. Collect now, his thing is going on in like 30 minutes. So we're gonna get through this, we're gonna take a listen to that, and then we're gonna go from there. Yeah, is OMI ready to moon? That's the title of this. Let's see where we're at now. So a few days ago, it was like, okay, we got up to 00024 a couple times, kept getting rejected, kept getting rejected, kept getting rejected. And then yesterday we go up to, yeah, it might have been 2 days ago. Let me take a look at this. On the 23rd, we get up to about 2.4 a couple times, get rejected, and then late on the 23rd, okay, we go up to 2.45. We go up to like 2.8, go back down to 2.4, and then as soon as we reach 2.4, quick bounce. So it's like that most recent ceiling became the most recent like level of floor for us. So it's like, okay, maybe that could be the newer local bottom. Go up to 2.7, wick down to 2.5 a couple of times, and now we're at 2. We've been 2.9 once or twice today, and we're at 2.841, give or take. So I was talking to a buddy of mine before, and we were taking a look at, okay, what makes sense for when OMI would be able to actually moon. It's like, okay, well, what would make sense is if you're talking about a third rate cut here in December, which would be great. The most recent rate cuts haven't really done. What would make most sense and is like, okay, maybe we bottomed for Ethereum and Bitcoin. Bitcoin went down to 79K, and Bitcoin's at 88.5. Was at 89 before. Is this just a bounce, or is it a reversal? If it's a reversal, we keep going. Where do we go? I don't know. I think after like 106, whatever. But then confirmed reversal. But right now, it still could technically be a bounce. We have a few days before, which I have about a week almost before November ends. And again, we're just in that limbo. It's like Schrodinger's reversal. Is it a bounce? Is it a reverse? And if it's a bounce, do we go back lower to, the low 80s again? Do we go back to the high 70s? Do we get a lower low? We don't know. But what would make sense is if that was the low and we bounce from here, okay, we have a rate cut in December, we have a Santa rally, and then after that, it's like, okay, we have the 2026 budgets, maybe another rate cut in January, then you have Jerome Powell getting out in there, and maybe you have some more liquidity added to the markets. You have quantitative tightening that's ending, you have quantitative easing with a bunch of different countries that are starting. And if that happens, I'd say you get a nice Bitcoin and ETH blow off top, like when Jerome Powell leaves office in May, and then as ETH goes up, you have that NFT bull run, and then the digital collectibles bull run could run after that. So it would make sense that by summer of next year, OMI goes crazy. But crypto a lot of times doesn't make sense, and again, it's done like a 2.5x, give or take. Not many people bought at the bottom. That was 0.00109. I got a little bit close to down there, like 1.2. I think I got maybe like 1.1-ish, but it was more like 1.2. I was waiting for those quad zeros, and unfortunately, it never came. But again, now it's done that. You can't. It would be one thing if the team hadn't announced anything, because again, we were at like 0.0035 maybe, and then we announced Street Fighter, and the price went down. Then we announced Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, price kept going down. I was like, this is the opposite of what should be happening, but it was because of the overall macro. But now that the macro has hopefully bottomed, and then we see that reversal, which again, it could be a bounce. But because of that, then it's like, okay, now people are a little bit more confident. Now because the macro is looking good, they might find the money to spend elsewhere. And it's like, okay, these had some very good announcements just on the IP side, not including the interoperability side. Like this is something that you could only announce once. I mean, you could have IP all the live long day. You could have announcement after announcement after announcement of IP, and that's awesome. You kind of want to save that for bull market, but they've been dropping it right now. But the interoperability, that self custody, that is a major announcement. And again, you could only announce it the first time once. So they announced it. It's insane. And then what happened? You can't unlearn it. It's the one thing that once it's out there, you can't put that genie back in the bottle. You can't put that toothpaste back in the tube. It's out there, and you have to deal with the consequences of that. And the consequences are like, okay, the knowledge is there, and what do you have to do to disseminate that properly? And importantly, I think it's just what we're doing. Like, you have a space on it today in the next like 30 minutes that Dr. Profit's going to be on, and we'll go over it live. And you still have, I don't want to say fudder, you still have like the non-believers that are just like, well, is it going to be a blockchain that they only control, or is it going to be true self-custody? It's like, and like, I don't know, like, he's going to answer them and people are going to think what they're going to think. I don't know any of this. Again, I'm not a dev here. I'm not the one that's built this blockchain. This is not my project. It's not my baby, but it's Dr. Profits. And because he has more OMI outside of he has more OMI than anyone. He's one of the very few people that spent more on their OMI than I have. There's some people that might have as much OMI or more, but maybe they spent less because they bought. But again, I'm one of the few people that have spent well over $500,000 on it. And he's one of the few people that has invested quite a lot more, like a multiple more than me. And that's how he has more OMI than anyone else except for the founders. They all have around the same. So again, he's very incentivized to go in and make it so that not only the pure Web3 people, they kind of get on board. You have the fudders that have nothing to complain about anymore. And then you have other people that are going to want to get into either the VeVe company, and they might want to give them money with interoperability. Because again, nobody has this interoperability where you can guarantee royalties. So VeVe will have that with their collectibles. And then they also have the option of saying, like again, if I'm on Immutable X, or if I'm Immutable X, I'm scared as fudge right now, because Immutable X really known like for gaming, right? And they have a lot of games on there. But all of the assets, all the NFTs that are on there, like, they can't guarantee the royalty. Like nobody can. So if you go in and if I'm a game on Immutable X and it's like, okay, my NFTs are on here, we get the money on the initial sale, but we don't get any money on the sales on top of that, on the trading. I would have zero problem going and migrating to the collect chain and be like, yeah, what do you need? If you guarantee my royalties, what fees do you want me to pay? Do you have an onboarding fee? Like, and I don't know if they would have it where they would have the fees in OMI or anything, but again, we'll see. So right now, everything has been announced where it seems ready that it could moon. Again, it would make more sense if other stuff happened in the macro first and you had an NFT bull run. No, a digital collectibles run can happen regardless of what the macro is doing, but I am not 100% sure that is more likely. I think the more likely thing to happen is that ETH goes up to all-time highs, then you have an NFT bull run, and then digital collectibles. Now, that's the way it happened last time. Does it happen the same exact way again? Probably not, but maybe. And again, I think that's the more likely scenario than. But again, you have the green candles, and you have this isn't. I sound like ChatGPT. This isn't just another blah blah blah. This is a blah 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 blah. These aren't JPEGs, and so one, you have high-end 3D digital collectibles. They're not JPEGs. They are literal works of art. And anything can be art, right? Like, and I'm saying that JPEGs can't be art. You can look at them and they're awesome. And you can make them your PFP on some places, and that's really cool. And a lot of money goes into them. And there is some history there. Like, you have some NFT project, like, there's no IP, there's no history, there's no revenues. But for CryptoPunks and Bored Apes and Mutant Apes and all this stuff, Pudgy Penguins, well, there's a lot of revenue. There's big businesses behind that. And they're making money, and it's able to fund really whatever they want to do, games, plushies, and all that. But I don't care what you could have all of the JPEG NFTs do a fusion ha, combined, you could have a mutant ape, bored ape, pudgy penguin, Milady Makers, like Illuminati type of thing. That means nothing when compared to like Spider-Man and Mickey Mouse and Batman. Now, granted, there's other Batman out there's like Todd McFarlane NFT Batman on there. There's, and I mean like his actual McFarlane digital collectibles. I don't know if there's Mickey Mouse on what was that? What Cryptoys? Which I guess they're fusion hawing now too, because you have the one that owns Pudgy Penguins. They're the ones that now have like Cryptoys, I think, or that partnership. I don't know if they bought them or not. I forget which Abstract, I think. And again, that's really cool. But I don't know if Cryptoys. So again, they have Luke. I think they have Vader. I think they have Leia. I think Cryptoys actually got Leia before we did. So there will be some people that will go to that just because first appearance Leia. But as I've said before, the first edition Charizard that is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, that's not the first Charizard ever in existence. So yes, you have people that are like, well, this is actually the first one ever. And there will be a market for that. There will be a market for that first appearance Leia on the blockchain. Like there will be people that go in and say like, it was the first one ever and I'm going to buy it. And there'll always be a little market for that. But what's the one that people are going to care about? And we don't know yet. The evidence seems to point towards VeVe because that's the biggest platform and that's one with the most money on it and the most collectors, and the collectors the most money and all that. But either way, it's all good for the space. And again, the 3D digital collectibles, like this is more different. This is different than any other thing that we have, or that any other thing that's out there, because it's all in one place, and it's about to be in multiple places because if people want. Now, I don't think you're going to get any MCP points or any whatever. Like if you have it in self custody, that might only be true if you have them in the VeVe account, but we'll see. So anyway, that's OMI. Let's take a look at the volume on it and see what we got over here. Oh my gosh, where are you? We are at $5 million in volume, $79 million market cap, so close to 80 is pretty close. 5K, 10K, okay. Fudge. All right, we got Space Penguin giving me some love. Gotta love Space Penguin. He was in the space the other day. He's a cool dude. He's in the DACAT space. And speaking of DACAT, we are going to do like a Kickstarter, raise a little bit of money. So the comic's almost done. Like it's been like done for a while where it's been written, but we're just editing stuff and we have maybe another 20. It should be done by next month. And what we're going to do is we're going to have a Kickstarter. The first 10 people to donate X amount of dollars for it, they'll get a 1 out of 10 cover. So we're going to I think we're going to print 350 comics. I was like, well, Chavez, why wouldn't you do 2026 comics? Because then this way people can kind of match mint numbers and they can match covers, and because you have that, you have that on the digital collectible side. You have 2026 mints, right? Yes, but that doesn't take up any space. Minting 2,000 comics is a lot, and that's a lot of space. And if we're going to be the ones that are going to have to like sell, like that's just too much work. It's really no money in that, or there might be a little bit of money in that, but for the most part, it's a lot of work, and it's really not worth the time. So we'll do that. We'll do that and because we know there's demand out there for it. Is there demand for, like, if we sell digitally, there's going to be people all over the US, Canada, Germany, Europe. Like there's going to be people from all parts of the world buying that digital comic because it's easy. They get it in 2 seconds. Buying it in the real world, they have a little extra cost because we have to ship it to them, and they have extra costs because, and it could get damaged in there. So we're probably just going to do the US for now. We might have like maybe 50 or so that. So we're also going to have 80 of them or 81 that are going to be earmarked for people that mint the secret rare on VeVe. So if you have it, if you mint that, we'll take a snapshot of it and we'll go and say like, okay, here's your here's your address. Okay, here's your comic. It's not going to be signed or anything. The signed ones will go to the first people. They'll get a different cover. Actually, if they do a certain amount of money, they'll get 2 comics. They'll get the one with a different cover that'll be signed by us, and then a normal one, like to read like everyone else. So again, it's just the first 10 people that do a certain amount of money. I don't know how much money that's going to be. Probably a couple hundred. And then after that, it's going to be, I don't know. I don't know how much for the comic, because you have to pay for shipping too. Um, but we'll lose money on the physical, but it's just about selling out. And it's just about like getting it out there, because once we have because if you try to go in and mint, let's say like 2,000 books, and it's like, okay, let's try to go to Barnes and Nobles and all these comic book stores, like you're not going to get in. You're just an unknown IP at that point. But if you have a successful digital thing and you have a successful, obviously, sell out of the physical stuff, the next time you do it for volume 2, it's like, okay, yeah, we can do that now. And also, we really want to reward the people that, and what are the odds that the cat like becomes like a Marvel, like they get adopted like by Marvel and Marvel buys them, like I don't know, 10 to 20%, maybe like 10 to 15%, that maybe one day if I throw enough money at it and I become big enough that maybe Marvel or something like Marvel eventually tries to buy us out. I mean, we've had people try to buy us out already, but they're like smaller companies. They're still big companies, but they're smaller companies. Um, but if that does happen, and suddenly these comics are like, we're not just doing 350 or 500 prints per issue, we're doing like thousands. The first, like, and it's possible that if this does really well, and then people like want to say like, hey, give it at local comic book stores, and there's demand for it, we could have a second print run, and we'll do a couple thousand issues. Even if we don't make money on it, it's just going to be to get it out there, just to get the gross revenues up. That's really good for the IP. It's really good for the business. It grows the valuation. And then the people that got the first 350 are like that. So for everyone, just so they know, is the first print of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, they only had 3,000 comics. You have a 9.8 signed by the 2 artists from that. That's worth $100,000, and there were 3,000 of those, because it was so popular. Then it became like, okay, we'll do another print run, 10,000, do another print run, like 30,000. But that first print run, that was pretty scarce. So if we have ours at 350, and it becomes something really, really big in the future, that's going to be very scarce. And yeah, you're gonna have to bet on me. You're gonna have to bet on the jockey, and yeah, the horse too, because you have the IP where it will outlast me, I hope. Where if something happens to me, now if something happens to me, oh, I don't know. But if something happens to me in like 10 years, and that's a very well established, like someone will take that over, and they'll build that. But then suddenly my signature on that 1 of 10 goes to the moon. But also you'll have people, so people want to match their digital, and then you have people that like we'll be at New York and DesignerCon next year for DACAT. So if you want to go and have us sign the normal copy, like I'll at least be there. I don't know if the artist should be there too. The artist should be at least one of those places, at either New York Comic Con or DesignerCon. We don't know yet. Um, but yeah, so if you want to get it signed by us, I don't know if we'll do that. We might make that an extra thing, like, hey, here's for the normal comic, but if you want it signed by us, we might do that, because this way you don't have to go to an event, and we might limit it to like maybe 50, I want to say, yeah, maybe like 50 copies. Because we want to really also reward people that get the secret rare as well. So we're definitely signing that first 10, but if we sign like an extra, let's say like 50 on top of that, it's like, okay, well, we're rewarding people for getting the secret rare, but they're not getting it signed. Like, we don't want to sign all of them, because then it loses its specialty. Um, so we probably, if we do, it'll be like, okay, the first 20, maybe. Um, and then again, you'll be able to get it signed by us at those cons. So anyway, that's the cat news. Um, the profit space coming on a little bit. Let's get through some comics here. Bill Gardner says, first, like, boy, it was a great day for OMI. Let's see what the Dr. Collect is having for us. He'll be there soon. He'll be there soon. Yes, Monsoon. What's up, Yayo? How you doing, fam? I love you. I love you so much. Sunbear says, Randy, do you have any idea if your team ever approached Mr. Beast? I don't know if they did or not. If, for instance, VeVe and OMI will work together for many years with them. It could. So be advised, he worked with God, what was the name of that shitty he had an ad in one of his videos, or he might have made a video about it. I forget what it was. It was a company that's like no longer around. So again, it's not the end all be all. I think if he genuinely liked it, yeah, that'd be cool, and it would. But right now, not at that level. Right now, we're at the level of, hey, we have that new collect guy, the Rockstar guy, the new Rockstar. He's really cool. And then you might have others that I may or may not connect them with over the next couple of days. I got to talk to my collectibles about it after the stream. Yeah, energy, give me that peace sign. What up? Dot Collect is going to collect them all. Pokemon, maybe one day. I don't know. We'll see. But I do think having this step is definitely would incentivize Pokemon more. Oh, the official token of color, that'd be cool. Gaming Evolved said, hi Randy, when VeVeverse coming? Well, we have VeVeverse. It's just not a lot of people are there. It's kind of hard to build in. And that's if you're talking about gamification and you're talking about like IP branded worlds and what we I don't know. They've been focusing on a lot, and there's definitely a team focused on that, but that might be a while. Coinbase, well, we're already on Coinbase through the DEX program. So you can go on Coinbase you don't even need crypto. You could buy it with dollars. You could just put money in. You don't need to buy USDC. You could search a Comey, unless you're in New York. New York, it doesn't let you because New York is horrible. But the other 49 states, you can do that. It's their DEX program. They don't have an order book, so you can't be like, okay, I'm going to say this order. I'm going to buy that order. I don't know what aggregator they use, but again, you can buy it straight on there. It takes 15 seconds. What's up, Connor? Mark Wynn says, oh yeah, it was Quid. Yeah. He did like an ad for Quid. Where's Quid now? We know where they're at. Let's take a look at Definity here. That they've been doing some monster numbers that they're up 4%, up to 1.7 cents, $2.6 million market cap. We love it. Yeah, only 347 editions of Samurai Vader. That's very, very scarce for this new one. Thanks and take care. No problem. Evolve Gaming. Yeah, that's very scarce for that Vader. I don't know how long we're able to do that for. And then Definity. So like $143 in volume. Like there's no volume, but they're crushing it on the business side, and they're doing, like I said, hundreds of thousands of gross revenue per month. Let's do DEVVE here, which DEVVE, they're staying flat, and I want to get more. I think I can get more if I get more money, in the next couple weeks. But I think by mid to late December, I think they're going to go. I think by mid to late December, they announce who their exchange partner is, and then they go crazy. Dingo says, I don't have the idea if there are more people in VeVe now. KYC is gone. There's definitely a lot more people, but we don't know the exact reasons for that. A lot of it, I think some of it has to do with these bounties that Comics and Crypto are putting out. Some of it has to do with me. Some of it has to do with the news that they've been putting out. There are definitely new people, but there are also people coming back. So it's probably a mixture of both. Let's say half and half. It might not be that. It might be 70-30, 60-40, whatever. But let's say half and half new people, half old people returning. Definitely a lot more people on here than there was. DEVVE news probably going to be in 4 weeks. So it's 1, 2, 3. I'd say in 4 weeks. I think the week of the 15th, my birthday. I think they'll announce it that week. Now, then they might not. They might not do it till December 31st, or it might be delayed till Q1 next year. It might be delayed by a couple days or a week or so. We don't know. But as of right now, everything's looking good, and we're very happy about it. So the DEVVE news, I'm going to say, what did I say, 4 weeks? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Oh, wait, hold on. 1, 2, 3.5, 4. But I'd say within 4 weeks we might get that. But again, it could be tomorrow. We have no idea. It could be tomorrow. All right, let's look at these spaces here. All right, it's not here yet. All right, we did DEVVE. Did that. We did the Bitcoin. Let's take a look at some what some of these things are going for over on the Stacker website. Let's take a look at. I don't know. Let's take a look at partner statue. And Dr. Profit's going live now. So partner statues 1,200 on VeVe, 1,400 in OMI. And let's see what the. I don't think I can be on for too long, but we'll see here. 1 second. Okay, we are officially live. We are officially live with the Dr. Profit duo. What is it? So many factors play into it. Ethan, yep. It's fun to speculate. All right, Mr. Dr. Collect. Okay, he is still on the on the mute. So I guess he's waiting for people to get there. And as we listen to, oh gosh, Curtis M. Cooper says, I think moon will be an understatement. Agreed. Again, I don't know if it's ready to moon yet. You know, it might not be. It's like a tree that you've hacked a little bit, and it's like, yeah, it might not be ready. All right, let's go. So that was partner statue. Let's do the Todd and see what Todd McFarlane is at. What is Jennifer Blood 3? Okay. Todd's at 666 over on VeVe and 599 over on Stacker, which is fine.
Mic check.
Is that O'Milly?
Can you hear me loud and clear?
That is O'Milly. That is co-hosting.
So Dr. Collect will give a few minutes for people to show up. I'll just play a couple of songs.
Oh no. Okay, he's gonna play songs. Your hat game. I have the same one. Bro, this was $5 and it's like such a good hat. It got a bunch of glitter on it because I was rooming with a bunch of girls, and this is the last time I'm doing that because I always have to like take care of someone or babysit someone. I always have to like herd them at the end and be like, okay, time to go. And it's like herding puppies. It's ridiculous. Anyway, we were getting ready, and then there's like, come on, group photo. And then they spray me with this body glitter. And this was last week. And I still have glitter issues. It's in my shoes. I know I got 2 of them in Vegas. Yeah, bro, but it's such a good hat. $5. And it's just like, it's still great. I was expecting this to fall apart in like a day, but it didn't. It just, it's still here. It's still getting this bread. Let's see where we are. Ooh, Jesus Christ. Okay, I'm sorry. Playing that music. I do not like that. I did a movie 2 years ago. It had strippers in it, and I still have glitter in my car, bro. I was engaged to a stripper years back, and the amount of times that I go to dry myself with a towel that still has her glitter on it, and now I have glitter on me. I just showered. I have to take another and it's just, I was glittery for months. It was horrible. It was one of the worst things. As I was like, never again. Oh, it's a space penguin girl. Fire, fire, fire. They didn't even dance on you. Oh, that's probably better off. This way you don't get the tease. Last Supper drop tomorrow. Elmon X. I saw that. I actually have Elmon X wants to send me like hot sauce. What did they say? Yeah, they want to send me like their hot sauce, and I'll try. I guess that's what they're getting into. It's like, all right, that's cool. I'll take it. All right, let's see if Akomi is done, or let's say if O'Milly is done playing the songs here. He is not. Okay, we'll get back to that. I feel like a lot of spaces nowadays are songs, and I don't like it. I like it when spaces had alpha. I like it when spaces had different people coming in with different successful people coming in with different perspectives that just weren't brought to the table yet. Yeah, a lot of spaces nowadays are songs. And it's like, bruh. Chris Rogers says, hiya, love your content. Let's say that the DEVVE partner is NASDAQ. Where can you see the price going in the next 6 months? So very similar to Akomi, where what would make sense well, I mean, right away on that announcement, add like a 0 within 2 weeks. So let's say they start on like the 15th, that's a Monday, also my birthday. By the end of the year, you could have like a $3.50 price point, again, just on the announcement. Now, we don't know what type of partnership it is, and we don't know what type of, whether it's profitable or not, and what type of marketing campaign they'll do. If it's NASDAQ, okay, it's not Asian money, it's not European money, this is American money, and you're going to be on MSNBC, you'll be on Fox News. Again, you could be, or it could be like a footnote in their Q4 financial statements where like that, yeah, that's their marketing. Yeah, we mentioned you in our Q4 financial statements. And it's like, okay, so again, we don't know what type of marketing campaign they'll have, but I think just on that announcement, you just bring awareness to it, you bring a light to it. I think we've gotten an additional 300 holders in like the past year. When I first got it last year, it was like 9,900 holders. There's 10,200 holders now. What the fuck? Like, so that's going to bring in just a bunch of new money, and you're gonna have people sell the news, fine, because you had people last year get it at 12 cents. You had people get it recently at 25 cents. That happened like a month ago, and then you had people that are just like want to get out because they're chasing green candles elsewhere. Give me 1 sec. Let me do spaces. Hopefully, there's no more.
Name is Dave.
Okay.
So I'm a VeVe collector.
Okay, he's going over introductions. I think as long as we get more rate cuts in December, we have quantitative tightening ending, quantitative easing starting, a bunch of different places, 2026 budgets, and Jerome Powell gets out in May, so that's a little bit past 6 months. You have this blow up. I think you can get, I don't know, a couple $1 billion market cap. We're at like 40 million right now, give or like not even. So like a 30x from here would be 1.2 billion if we're at $40 million market cap. So I think that's very reasonable. That 30x is very reasonable. So if you put in $1,000 now, you can get 30,000. Again, anything go to zero at any moment, but these are just my ideas based on that happening.
Multiple sources of truth, think mechanisms, and observe that everything. This is a problem that we wouldn't have had if collect chain existed in first place. If you have collect chain, you have one source of truth, because ultimately it also plays in with self-custody. I'm going to explain maybe a little bit later, but we would have not the same problem. We would have zero. I wouldn't say we have zero problems, but it would be close to zero. Anyway, so maybe I want to first address what we are not. So we're not another crypto project that launches a token and distributes these to users and creates some fake activity, hope that the users will stick somehow to that chain. We want to start with you, the VeVe users or OMI token holder. You are our first users, and this is the basis, and you're the first class citizen basically of that chain. So also we are not Immutable X. Immutable X is not it's not a general purpose chain. It has limited capabilities, and we're building more. We're building an ecosystem, and there's a few reasons why we decided to build our own chain. Also, I want to address that because we're going to be a layer 2, we don't need a network token. The plan is to use USDC or ETH for gas. And yeah, that's kind of the current plan. Also, I want to kind of preview a little bit the big picture. Like we think that digital collecting in general is being broken is a little bit too drastic, but you know that ecosystems can die. Now Candy users don't know where they end up. If somebody knows Candy, give them a shout out. We can host them, right? We want licensors to feel safe on our chain. And also, like the big picture is that we want to enable licensors to sell directly to their clients, right? And so everything we do is actually, we want to grow that ecosystem. We want to be that foundation for that ecosystem. And we believe, look, there's multiple speculations how many users we have. Is it 10,000, 50,000, 5,000? But we can grow that by 4 or 5 orders of magnitude. And at the moment, when once Collection Chain launches officially, we have one app, but we want to have multiple apps. And I want to invite everyone to see that multiple apps will actually, like the network effects will be bigger, right? And again, like VeVe Ecomi is the first class citizen, is our first client. They help to design our features, but also the OMI token and the utilities, and all of that can and will happen on CollectChain, and we will support that 200%, right? So we are behind that project, obviously, and we want to facilitate everything that is possible. Look, I want to start by describing a little bit our strategy. And we are a B2B platform. We want to go big. Obviously, we have a blockchain, and that is the very crucial part of the technology. But we also want to onboard licensors. VeVe has beautiful licensors, but there will always be licensors that are not maybe a direct fit, or they just can handle more licensors. We can, I don't know, onboard football clubs or ticket sales companies, other licensors. Our goal is really, we want to onboard 1 billion users. We believe that by also replicating real world rules, and I will come to some of the unique features that our chain has, we can onboard everyone. And our tech stack is so good, we're actually quite confident that we can host a lot of users. And we want to be that number one chain where licensors trust their IP. And we have 3 type of users, but I want to address licensors first. I don't believe if you don't get licensors right, that your chain or your project will go anywhere. So licensors don't feel safe. They want their rights to be enforced. They want royalties to be guaranteed. If they don't have any trust, there will be no ecosystem growth. So it's for us very, very important that we cater to licensors, but I will also address later how we will cater to users and maybe game developers. So today we have 2 apps, VeVe and VeVeverse, right? But it's not an ecosystem. We want to build that ecosystem and the infrastructure that will support that ecosystem. And maybe let's start with maybe our first key innovation. We will have on-chain license agreement. You can also think of it a little bit as digital rights management, but for us, in conversations with David Dan, we found out what is actually the most important thing for licensors. They want to be able to control how the assets can be used. And we think they want these assets to be used in multiple experiences or apps. But if they don't like an app because it's not family friendly, they will not whitelist it, right? So, for example, this on-chain license agreement will enable licensors to whitelist apps. So if they like app ABC, they will whitelist app ABC. It could be an AR experience. It could be even an artificial intelligence experience. It could be a marketplace that is whitelisted. A lot of brands, for example, don't want their brand to be listed on Amazon, right? So, the luxury brands. We will do the same thing. We will allow the licensors to control how the assets are listed. And the same is for example, we have one innovation. It's family and friends transfers. Look, if the licensor doesn't like it, they don't have to enable it. But I think it's a fair idea, and we have hope that everyone will kind of like that. And anyway, it will be always the licensor's decision, right? How assets can be used. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm going to list some more features, right? So I already touched upon the family and friends list. So we believe, and it's not set in stone, that the user should be able to nominate 5 to 10 users, his buddies, family and friends. Within that group, right? the users can transfer for free. We might even, if I transfer an item to you for free, it has to maybe reside at least for 6 months in your wallet, because you shouldn't be that ungrateful and send that NFT to someone else, right? Or maybe 12 months. These are like stuff that is not fully determined. And I'm not sure if the listeners have now checked the new ARC 721C standard. So it is quite common now that transfers are will be not free in the with this standard. So basically, it can be now enforced that a item can only be traded on a marketplace, on a whitelisted marketplace. And these NFT projects will be doing that to also enforce royalties. And I think, for example, with this family and friends list, we can do better, right? So we know that there should be some possibility also to transfer for free. We will, and a lot of the stuff that I'm saying doesn't mean it's going to be there from minute one. There will be several phases how we will implement that. For example, we're sure we can create a lending with auto return. I'm going to lend you my Lamborghini. 1 week later, it returns. This can actually not be done with NFTs easily. Yeah. So with NFTs, if I transfer you my NFT, I have zero chance to get my NFT back, right? So we will develop a protocol that will be able to do it, and our opinionated chain will be able to handle that. And another innovation is because like people will ask, like, how can you enforce that these items can only be used in a certain application? So we will have a storage layer or content delivery network. So only if it can verify if you own an asset and if that app is whitelisted, only then we will deliver the asset and the decryption key to you. Then another innovation is the location protocol. So in order that you can use one asset only in one location, right? Or no, you can use only an asset in one location. In the real world, you can't use an asset in 2 different locations. So it will be checked in maybe in a racing game, your Lamborghini, right? And by the way, when I'm using Lamborghini, it's at the moment not a real example, but it's a good example to illustrate this. And so with the check-in, check-out process, we will ensure that an item can only be used in one location, and we can track on our blockchain explorer the history, how the item has been used, right? So this is going to be an innovation. The blockchain explorer will show that. And look, even if you maybe now race with your car some laps and you have a record, we could potentially store that also on chain. So the items will become more unique over time. That's the idea. And so I also don't want to forget that we have collectors, right? And the collectors we've done a survey, and I think Omili has potentially already posted a link to that. I'm posting that now. Okay. And so, yeah, we would like to invite you to give us your opinion. What are the most important things that you want to see? The new chain, the new ecosystem. What are the most important features that you want to look at? And so we did the survey already in a smaller group, and one of them is users want, for example, to preserve their collectible. Ideally, they become immortal, right? And also they want a bigger ecosystem. They want more apps or games where they can use it, right? So this is quite was the common answer that these are the most important things. And so we see ourselves as the partner of the users that we can make that happen. Yeah. And we don't feel confident, like as mentioned some things. So we could have built maybe some of the stuff on base, or but also don't worry about it. Nothing will change. We'll be very, very close to base, right? But we need also a technical setup where we have a high throughput, and we can have a much higher throughput than base. So very, very confident about the technical abilities. Anyway, so the same thing. We want to build an ecosystem for app and game developer. This is, by the way, something I call interoperability. Interoperability means that you can use that asset in different environments, right? So maybe we have some bunch of VeVe users that know how to develop a Unity game, right? We can give them our SDK. Again, that's something which is planned for phase 2, phase 3, right? So we're just starting, but we want to enable app developers to have a variety of assets that they can use. They don't have to maybe license the car. They can build a racing game and don't have to pay royalties to car brands, right? And that's for me true interoperability, not ignoring the fact that self-custody is sometimes also perceived as interoperability or trading on different marketplaces. Maybe one example to make it a little bit more visual, our CTO, he is a big movie fan, and he doesn't really like to buy movies on Apple and Amazon. And as far as I know, DVDs or Blu-rays are not a thing anymore. And so you can't really own a movie. You kind of own it on that ecosystem. And if that ecosystem shuts down, then you don't own it, or for maybe they exclude you because you misbehaved. We could technically sell movie NFTs, and that publisher would say, okay, I like these 5 players, and I'm whitelisting them. And from then, that point onwards, you can actually stream that movie. You could even run a backup node and store that movie offline. So these are things that we are working towards, to not promising anything like for like a very near future. So right now we're very busy with the VeVe migration. And yeah, let's go now into some technical details, because we had a lot of questions around that. So we are a layer 2 blockchain. It's an EVM blockchain. We use Celestia as the data availability layer that gives us tons of advantages. One of them is speed and throughput. And one of the reasons why we have a fantastic throughput is also because we use a virtual machine called Ref. It's a Rust implementation, which is really the latest technology. So we're very happy. We are a general purpose chain, so not unlike Immutable X. And as mentioned, so we want to make it seamless for users to either use their email to use the blockchain, but also if you're used to your MetaMask or your base wallet, you can use that as well, right? Similar to Stacker, like we know that you can do things. We have to do things better. So, for example, right now you have to connect Stacker to your VeVe account. We will put everything to work that it's more like a unified system where you don't have to kind of double or triple verify. And so it will be just log in with email, and for example, you can pay with credit card. So even if the listing is in maybe in OMI or USDC, we will be able to allow easy access and payments, and yeah, maybe we can use. We'll check it out, but some providers also to offboard with your fiat, right? As mentioned, so I'm confident to say, and we did some tests, that we feel like we're, I don't know, factor 100x faster than Immutable X. And also Immutable X, you will see, is not something which you can permanently rely on. So there was some need to change. We can go down to 100 millisecond block time. I'm not sure if we'll start like that. Maybe even potentially 50 milliseconds. This could be very interesting for games. And we tested ourselves. We have 10,000 transactions per second. And with that ref, with the Rust execution layer, we're very happy. And so we have a partnership with Binary Builders and Celestia. Binary Builders is the leader in blockchain infrastructure. A lot of projects are relying on that, and we are partnering with them. And Celestia is a data availability layer where you can also verify your ownership, and it's backed by billions of dollars. It's really a cool thing. Now, just mentioning, there will be several phases of the migration. Phase one is scheduled for, I want to say, like end of January. Nothing will change for the VeVe user, except there might be a new link. It's not going to be the immutable Explorer. It's going to be our Explorer for Collect Chain. And in phase two is, let's roughly aim at summer next year. That means at that point, everything is truly Web3. So kind of self-custody, we have a protocol that enforces royalties, on-chain license agreement. The big innovations, the most important innovations will be online. And and then we have some sort of roadmap later. So just some items on the roadmap for later, and we will kind of communicate that a little bit better. Look, and so just to wrap it up, so we're not another crypto project. We build real infrastructure for digital ownership, and we build for licensors, collectors, and developers. So yeah, thank you for listening to my long monologue, and we can start firing away some questions. Maybe the first one will be addressed to Foster. Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Collect. I think it's very eye-opening for everybody who's in here, who supports the project. I think I have to start with Foster because I'm looking at the crowd. There's a lot of OMI homies in here. The question that I'm gonna get, if it hasn't started already in the comments, how does all of this get? What does OMI have to do with all of this? What's happening there? Can you tell us anything?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. And yeah, I mean, it's really cool to hear Dr. Black talking about all this stuff first and foremost, right? I mean, for a lot of people, this is going to be their first time that they're ever really hearing about blockchain and all the stuff that kind of goes on behind the scenes. But when you start to realize the prevalence and importance of making sure that you have a system that runs very smoothly in the background to accomplish a lot of these things. I think Collect has done a great job of that, and we're looking forward to seeing all the developments coming for them. As far as the impact for OMI, I think the most important thing to remember and for users to really take away is that the token's not being replaced and it's not going anywhere. As a matter of fact, this will actually open up more doors for Ecomi as a company and OMI as a token as we work to grow and onboard users into OMI via the collection. We've been working alongside Collect for quite a while now to make sure that the token that powers where the world collects continues to develop and evolve. And we're focusing on utilities and features that will expand and grow within that Collect ecosystem. As Dr. Collect mentioned, OMI is a first-class citizen of the chain. And we feel honored to be the first utility token to have this opportunity to build out and shape the digital collecting landscape, similarly to how we've been able to do with VeVe to date. And so integrating with Collect will allow us to meaningfully scale the utility for the token and the ability to onboard new users. These features will be primarily comprised of things that the community has been asking for. And they'll be built on the foundation and complement existing features that we've already created, such as OMI to NFT, OMI to Gem, daily and seasonal rewards, leaderboard rewards, and more. And so we see a lot of alignment with Collect and how we can grow and scale through their ecosystem. And we look forward to sharing our plans as we get closer to the release of the chain and the features that we've been working on. And so, this is one of the biggest steps for OMI token utility and accessibility to date. And I can assure everyone that's listening right now that the best is absolutely yet to come.
Woohoo! Perfect. Thank you very much. And I think now we can get into it as far as the blockchain and basics. Is that cool with you, Dr. Collect? Oh, yeah. Okay. What advantages does Collect Chain have over other collector-focused chains like Abstract? And what potential disadvantages should users be aware of? And I just want to remind people, these questions came from you guys. We really, really appreciate them. We put as many as we could. So yeah, go ahead. Yeah. And also want to mention that they're neutrally picked by Grok, right? So we taught Grok to look at the reaction and likes. And so these are the most liked or upvoted questions, basically. I mean, it's an interesting question to compare ourselves with abstract. So look, there's I want to say there's hundreds and a lot of good chains L2s that are, in my opinion, not trying to solve like a specific problems. We could also like throw in story protocol, which is very IP driven a chain. So what we are focusing on is to solve a problem of big licensors. And we don't see any other project that is focusing on that. And by focusing and solving it for the big licensors, we are making it as attractive as possible. And look, I can now name, as mentioned before, we have a content delivery network attached to the blockchain. So the files are not on chain, but they're coordinated will be coordinated by the blockchain. We have an absolute fantastic throughput. And we wanted to build really the chain that solves these problems for licensors, for the world of digital collecting. I don't see another chain trying that at the moment, and that's fine if there will be. But I want to say we are the first chain that addresses these problems directly. And we can also see ourselves like we are a chain that, like Abstract, I think, was giving away a lot of tokens to new users, or although I'm not sure. We can work with any chain, right? So if you have a game on Arbitrum, we want to be that chain that hosts your valuable collectible and enforces royalties, etc. So we will be compatible ultimately with all the ecosystems, and we can be used in conjunction with any. We don't need to be that blockchain where your whole ecosystem runs. We're just there for the digital collecting. Yeah. How to, but the some of the technical details I mentioned are not possible, for example, on Abstract or IP protocol or story protocol.
Okay, perfect. How will Collect Chain handle high traffic events like big drops to ensure smooth performance and scalability? I know that's a special question for people too.
Yeah, look, the way and unfortunately how the Stacker and so Stacker was maybe not scaling right now as good as possible because we have these bottlenecks, APIs that we have to work. If in an ideal world, like we can handle 10,000 transactions. So all we need is the users need to query the indexer, and once the RPC nodes, once they are they know the latest state of the blockchain, they can sign a transaction. So I think I was maybe a little bit too complicated. So we think we can handle 10,000 transactions, and the scalability of the website can be done with Vercel, etc. We're kind of using it right now, but we will have a better implementation. Look, in a way, I'm confident that we can handle 10,000 users in the future in parallel. And if there are bottlenecks, we're kind of happy to address them as they come. But when it comes to the blockchain itself, we're actually confident that we can look, if there's a VeVe drop with 50,000 comics, right? We technically will be able to handle it in 5 or 10 seconds. The bottleneck will be, if anything, the website or the RPC nodes.
Okay, perfect. Then we will go to one of the most important things people have been asking for a very long time. This is self-custody and interoperability. Will users be able to self-custody their collectibles to any private wallet, or is it limited to Collect Chain's ecosystem wallets?
So self-custody in our definition is that you have MetaMask, for example, but okay, technically self-custody the preview wallet that we're using is self-custody because you could export your private key, but it feels like a Web2 application. And so when people talk self-custody, they really talk about the MetaMask, and you will be able to store your Grails. I think people will mostly use it for Grails and push it to the MetaMask, and nothing will change. By the way, what will change is usually, and you can see it on Stacker, the transactions we can sponsor on a Stacker wallet, we cannot sponsor a transaction once they're in MetaMask, because this is not possible. So people will have to have their gas token to pay for transaction, which will be cheap, right? So they can have $1, but without a gas token, they will not be able to transact. But the short answer is yes, they will be able to store those collectibles in the MetaMask.
Okay, perfect. After migration, will bridging VeVe NFTs to other chains like Ethereum be possible for full interoperability? And I know you covered a bit of what that word means. Could you break that down a little bit for the people?
Yes. So you can imagine, so first of all, the licensor will decide. If the licensor feels that it's very important to be able to bridge to layer 1, we will put that on the roadmap and allow it. But I can already forecast that some of the function that I was talking to, like you want to check into a computer game, etc., is actually only possible if you have it on Collect chain, right? And that's something I wanted to highlight. I know what is important is for the user that you could be able to do it. It doesn't mean that all the users will do it, right? And also, I'm not sure if it was not explicitly addressed, but obviously that people also think or like the idea that it could be traded on a different marketplace. So again, technically, all of that will be possible, and it will be down to the licensor to decide if they want to enable that or not.
Okay, great. I think we can. I don't want to speak for the licensors, but I feel like if that's been part of the issue of dealing with the Disneys and then the big licensors, I don't know if we really see them changing their mind, right?
I mean, maybe they look at that speculation. They're not blockchain experts, right? Mm-hmm. So they will react on what the users want, right? At the moment, there is no direct channel to them because it's everything is more indirect, right? So they want to address maybe Disney to create utility for a specific NFT, but at the same time, VeVe will be is held responsible. But I think once we create a system where you can address directly your concerns with the licensor, mm-hmm. then it's if people are unhappy with the licensor, how the licensor handles things, now they have a direct channel and all they need to do is flip a switch, right? So that's kind of how I see it, hopefully playing out in the future, and it's really up for them to decide. So there's an argument if items, if assets can be bridged to layer 1, that there will be more worth, right? But look, even if you think about layer 1 and layer 2 Ethereum, they're both worth the exact same thing. But okay, maybe it's a bad example, but we see the activity happening on layer 2, mm-hmm. and if you would be able to bridge into layer 1, that could create value, but that doesn't mean that all the users will do it. Mm-hmm. Just the ability to be able to do it could create the value.
Yeah, I believe you're correct there. And I know we covered this, but just once again, want to make sure everybody knows what's going on. So, is Collect Chain EVM compatible, allowing seamless integration with wallets like MetaMask for self-custody and transfers?
Yes, it's 100% EVM, general purpose. That said, we will allow the licensor to create the rules on how transfers are either free or subject to royalties.
Okay, great. And I saw this one quite a bit on different tweets, so we'll ask it here. Can other NFTs like Bored Apes or Elmon X collectibles be traded or custodied on Collect Chain in the future?
So technically, we could allow that board apes could be transferred. I mean, that said, I think the natural way would be that we talk to these projects and convince them that if you want to have your board ape also in the VeVe-verse, would be good if you bridge them. I mean, look, I don't want to be unrealistic. So on the one hand, look, if you bridge it, it's going to be on the exact same wallet address, right? So it's a little bit like in MetaMask when you can flip the switch between the different network. I don't think it's really necessary to bridge it unless we have a collaboration with the project, and then the project gets the perks of being on Collect.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Will collectors be able to verify ownership and transaction history on an independent block explorer, independent of the VeVe app?
Yeah, I mean, the answer is, so we have a blockchain explorer. The word independent it's an open source project, Block Scout. I mean, that said, we plan to build a lot of new features because the way that I mentioned before, there is a provenance for every collectible, and we want to really display that. So you click on a certain NFT, and then you will see, okay, that has been used in computer games or in AR, AI application. And so I think it would look on an independent blockchain explorer very, very messy. So our job will be to display it better, but we will be open to anyone that builds a blockchain explorer to display that.
Okay, perfect. Now, can we get to some of these migration questions, or is there any? I don't know if there's anything else you've thought about that we haven't covered yet, or else we could jump into this.
I think
we're doing good so far. Yeah, then we're good on time. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, migration questions. How will FAFE tags, mint numbers, edition sizes, burn history, and ownership provenance be preserved during the migration? Great question.
Yeah. And it's not straightforward. So right now we are migrating with more like a snapshot, but we have plans to show the full history and bring it on chain. This might happen in phase 2 rather than phase 1 because now the speed was more important, but we do have all the history and provenance, and we will find a way to verify it or display it on our blockchain explorer. There's still one or two options that we're considering. That's why I don't want to exactly say how it is, but we know the goal is very simple. You want to see the full history, and it should be on chain.
Yes, I think the good thing about you being part of the community for so long, you understand all this stuff is mostly what we've been asking for a long time. So you kind of are building with that knowledge. Okay, where will metadata for migrated NFTs be stored to ensure long-term accessibility and integrity?
I mean, I think still the standards, and I should have checked that maybe before, is IPFS or IFPS, yeah. And but we also have our own content delivery network and archive nodes. So I think we can basically cater to both and store it in both locations. So yeah, that's I think the answer to that.
Okay, perfect. What is the exact timeline for phase 1 migration to Collect Chain, and when will the dedicated Collect website launch?
Yeah. So January is the plan for the phase 1 migration.
Mm-hmm.
And there's going to be maybe 2 steps. So we will be visible in December at some point, rather later than earlier, with a website. That said, and then it will link at some point to the blockchain explorer, but there's going to be much more that you can do on the Collect website, but that's a bit later planned down the line for phase 2.
Okay. So yeah, I think we've all learned about the when and the soons. So we'll keep it to what you know so far, which we know phase 1 migration for January and the Collect website in sometime in December. I believe you had said.
So say it again, sorry.
Sorry, did you say for the website for Collect sometime in December?
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, we will inform everything we're talking right now will be more formalized with roadmaps and some information that everyone can read.
Perfect. And will standard NFT formats like ERC 721 or ERC 1155 be used post-migration for broader compatibility? This is great too.
I'm not exactly sure if I 100% understand the question, but yeah, we can or will support all the ERC standards, but we might have a preference, right? So we might go for the new standard ERC 721C. But technically, since we're a general purpose chain, everything is possible on our chain.
Okay, perfect. And okay, one more here. What new features like direct peer-to-peer trading or bundling collectibles will become available on Collect Chain after migration? I'm loving all these questions, by the way, because this is all stuff we've been wanting for a long time.
Yeah. And this is not even a question directly for Collect Chain. So all of this is possible on Collect Chain because, again, it's a general purpose blockchain. So it's more like a UI UX problem. It's either Stacker is going to solve it or the Collect app will have basically a marketplace where we solve this. And bundling collectibles was always addressed, so I'm very well aware. We will be on par with any standard NFT marketplace feature parity, basically. So yeah, these are known things. Yeah.
Beautiful. I think that's it as far as the ones that we had. Fausto, I don't know if you're gonna jump in here. Anything you want to add?
No, I mean, look, I'm super excited to be able to hear these things, come directly from like obviously this is something that we've heard that they've been working on for quite a while, but to understand the full scope of what is being developed. And yeah, I'm just really looking forward from our side to be able to start to share a little bit about how OMI is going to fit into the wider ecosystem. And so, yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I know that there might be some community questions that people have put in the chat that we may have already written down there. But yeah, I mean, if anything pops out specifically, you can let us know. And yeah, I think.
Okay, perfect. I will look at the questions in the crowd right now, just to make sure anything we haven't gone over, we can do just that. There's a lot of David Yu fans in the crowd asking where he is. Guys, we got to focus on what we need to do here today. So I'm just going to check while we are live here. And I'm hoping people have been here since the beginning because I'm seeing a couple of questions that have been we kind of went through. So you might have to listen back to the recording, guys.
We'll probably have to listen back.
Or Foster, you guys see any questions that we haven't gone through yet?
Yeah, there might be a couple. I can
please let me know.
I think I'm going to send it to you actually that you could potentially ask to Dr. Fleck that I think could be relevant. I think the community's asked some great questions, and I think, like you said too, I think something to keep in mind that's important is all of these questions were generated from the community through posts that Dr. Fleck had put out, and they were kind of organized and categorized by Grok. So it was complete third party, right? So these are genuine questions the community has, and I think it's important for people to remember too, especially if you're not blockchain native. at you right now, and we totally understand that. So, you know, Fleck will be releasing a wider roadmap information on their website in December at some point, so you'll have kind of a better understanding of some of these things. But if for whatever reason you didn't understand anything, you know, we'll also look at the additional spaces as well, so that people have an opportunity to digest all the information and then ask questions when it's more relevant. So.
Okay, perfect. And you can just DM me the questions that you're seeing.
So I see question, will Collect have a separate native token? And the answer to that is no, we're not planning. Again, this is also, since at the moment we're planning for an L2, there's no need for a native token, so similar to Base. We are not planning, and I'm not sure if I addressed this before. I think there was a question at some that I read, how decentralized we are, and you can picture it like this. We similar to Base, we have
guys, I do have to bounce right now because I do have other stuff that I need to get this bread on. I'll be live tomorrow for the fudge. We have TMNT tomorrow. I'll be live tomorrow, maybe for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle drop. Maybe, yeah, I'll probably do that. And then we have the Omi Homie show tomorrow. And then I have such a packed schedule tomorrow. I have meetings all day, so I'll try to be, if I'm not live for the TMNT show tomorrow, we'll have the Omi show tomorrow at 8, but I do have another meeting I have to run to right now, and then I have to go get that bread in other places. But I will see y'all tomorrow. Everyone say bye-bye to Erica. Bye-bye, Erica the cat. We love Erica. Okay, I love you guys. Bye. Thank you for being here. I love you. Yeah.